All right, all you beautiful people, give me just a couple of minutes here. I'm going to walk you through how you can make $100,000 every single month or build a business that's doing roughly $1 million a year. Now, I'm not going to give you tactics. This is not a tactical video. This is actually something vastly more important, more valuable. This is a strategic video. I'm going to give you 7 ideas from some of the world's greatest founders that have come before us. So the ideas that keep repeating themselves over and over and over again that I think if you were to take these and run with them will give you the highest probability of success. Now, where did I get these from? You might be seeing that I am wearing a shirt right now. If you're listening to the podcast, it's audio only. Like, just use your imagination. I have the word founders written across my chest. This is a t-shirt that my buddy David Senra sent over. Actually, I don't know him. It's not fair to say he's my buddy, but he saw me make a comment on something and he said, "Hey, you want a free t-shirt?" And I was like, "I love free t-shirts." So he sent me a free t-shirt. I listened to his podcast. It's all about, he reads the biographies of the world's greatest founders and then he distills it each and every week. He's done hundreds of these. And one of the things that I listen to this podcast all the time because I love reading biographies. I love studying what the people that came before, like the greatest founders, what did they do and what are the commonalities? And you start to notice these through lines. Like everybody has a different path to the top, but they all climbed it in more or less the same way, which was they take one step after another, right? And so I want to share with you 7 of these strategic ideas that have recurred over and over as I've listened to the Founders Podcast. So I do recommend go listen to the Founders Podcast. It's fantastic. But without further ado, let's dive in. Number 1, the first lesson is that money comes as a result of service. Let me say that again. Money comes as a result of service. If you want to make money, you have to serve somebody else. If there was no other person, then there would be nothing to transact. There would be no commerce, right? So if I want to get somebody to give me money or give me anything, like if I have a goat and I want that guy to give me some milk, I have to exchange value, right? We have to serve one another. Now, the value of your business is fundamentally the sum of all problems you solve. So all the problems that you solve, all the value that you can deliver, all the ways that you can serve people, whether that's serving a small group of people in a big way or a big group of people in a small way, like that is fundamentally, if you sum up all the problems, all the ways you serve, all the value you deliver, that is the total of your business. The biggest problems are rooted around 4-5 things. You got money. People want to make more money. They want better health. They want more status. They want more entertainment, or they want more meaning. So if you want to make more money in your business, you have to solve bigger problems. You have to find ways to serve more people or serve those people in a bigger way. If you can't do that, you're always going to struggle to grow. Number 2, second idea. This is from Charlie Munger. He said, find a simple idea and take it very seriously. Listen, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you want to build $1 million a year business, now if you want to build $1 billion or $1 trillion business, maybe you do need to reinvent some wheels, right? But if you want to make $1 million a year business, which is the premise of this video here, you just need to go and find something that is working, something simple, something that you care about more than anybody else cares about, and then do that thing for an extremely long period of time. You can't not be successful because at the end of the day, fundamentals executed with excellence for an extraordinary amount of time yields extraordinary results. It's that simple. Fundamentals, excellence, extremely long period of time. That's all you got to do. Simple thing, really well for a really long period of time. That's it. It seems so obvious, so stupidly simple that it couldn't possibly be true, but I'm telling you it is, which leads us to number 3. This idea of simplicity is so important. It's actually repeated here. Simplicity is everything. So as you listen to great founders talk, they almost always use similar words. Like Einstein said, an idea should be as simple as possible, but no simpler. Or simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. Or genius has the fewest number of moving parts. It all comes down to simplicity over and over and over again. Because at the end of the day, like what ends up happening for a lot of businesses, for a lot of us, whether you're small or you're big, is the reason that we struggle to grow is because as we grow, we introduce more and more complexity. We have more people, we have more ways of delivering, we start to have more products, we have more marketing channels. So like more and more complexity enters into the equation, and that becomes really hard to manage. It gets chaotic, right? the more that you can stream things down and keep it simple, the more likely you are to move fast, to develop something that is excellent, and to be able to actually deliver it to people that want to have that result. So simplicity, you need to be looking constantly at everything that you're doing through the lens of like, where is there unnecessary motion? Where is there unnecessary waste in this process? What is not actually core to what we're doing? And then cut it ruthlessly, which brings us to lesson number 4, which is story changes the world. Story changes the world. I've said this before on this podcast a number of times, but Victor Hugo said there's nothing more powerful in the world than an idea whose time has come. But the truth is that an idea is only as effective as your ability to communicate it. So if you cannot communicate your world-changing idea, then it can't do anything. Now, this is a quote from, I can't remember which episode this was from, but it says, an idea that's easy to understand is easy to spread. An idea that's easy to understand is easy to spread, whether that's internally with your team, spreading the idea of what it is that you're trying to build, or externally trying to market it to the world and get them on board with this thing. Case in point, Steve Jobs. What was the iPad? Or I'm sorry, the iPod. What did he say the iPad was? It's 1,000 songs in your pocket. 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's an easy idea to understand. It's an easy idea to spread. So is it any surprise that Apple went on to be one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable company of all time? No, it's because story is everything. Your ability to distill this idea and package it, again, going back to Apple, because they might be the best storytellers that we have ever seen in the tech industry. It's for the crazy ones. For the crazy ones who believe they can change the world, right? For the ones who don't just accept the status quo, don't just go with the motions, don't go with the flow, but they carve out their own path. The ones who are crazy enough to believe that they can change the world, and in believing they can, they ultimately do. That's storytelling right there. Number 5, the power of repetition. The best businesses aren't the ones that do the most. It's the ones that do the fewest number of things the best. And they find the thing that works and they just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. They don't get too fancy with it. Again, they keep the idea simple and they just say, instead of trying to do more, let's try and do better with what we're doing over and over and over. So that we'll use the example of marketing. One of my favorite quotes is from David Ogilvy, one of the great copywriters, godfather of copywriting, of advertising, one of the old 20th century madmen. He said, "You're not marketing to a standing army, you're marketing to a moving parade." Okay, and so his message here was that you need to repeat yourself over and over and over and over and over again, not because people are standing still and they're hearing the same message over and over and over again, but because people are moving and they're not even aware of it. And so repetition is everything, whether that's repeating what's already working, repeating what you do, even though it's boring, and resisting the urge to go pursue something shiny. Just keep doing what's working over and over and over again, including your messaging, right? Good marketing at the end of the day isn't saying 1,000 different things in 100 different ways. It's finding the 100 core things that you want to say and then finding 10,000 different ways of saying it. That's it. So repetition is incredibly powerful. Number 6, people are a power law. The best ones change everything. So power laws rule everything around us. If you're not familiar with this idea, it's just the idea that in certain domains with the right amount of leverage, you can get disproportionate, exponential, quadratic returns versus just linear outputs relative to the number of inputs. And people are one of those things that pay disproportionate amount of leverage. So if you get an A player, rock star, best in the world, the impact that they can have on your business isn't just 2 times better than the B player. It's potentially 2,000 times better. If you don't believe this, think about this. I think it was Warren Buffett said, no, I don't know if it was Warren Buffett. I can't remember who said this, but he said, you're only one hire away from having $1 billion business. Who would that hire? If I wanted to build $1 billion business, who would I hire? Well, if I could hire Elon Musk, I'm all but guaranteed to build $1 billion business, right? Why is that? Because he already knows how to do it, because he's done it 1 billion times, because he has the network to make it happen, because he has the resources. Now, can I go hire Elon Musk to do that for me? Probably not. Right? Because to incentivize that person to go build me $1 billion business, he's going to, what's his incentive there, right? So it might be functionally impossible for me to go get the guy who could build me $1 billion business by next week. But if nothing else, it proves that people have this outsized potential return if you can get the right ones. So the thing I want you to think about here, because when you're small, especially as you're building to that first $1 million business, it's hard to justify hiring the person who is like a true A player that could get you to where you want to go. And maybe at $1 million a year, you don't actually have the resources yet to go and get a full true blood A player. But here's the idea I want to leave you with as you're navigating these murky waters, is the price you pay for not surrounding yourself with brilliant people is more than the price you would have paid to get them. The price of not having them is more than the price you would pay to get them. Think about that. Lesson number 7. You have 2 most important jobs as a founder. That is, set the vision and pound the drum. That's it. Like, at the end of the day, like, you are setting the direction for the team. Where are we going? What's the mountain that we're going to take? What's the hill we're going to die on? That's number 1. Nobody else can do that because you're at the top of the company. Think about it like a hierarchy. You have the most view. You can see the furthest to the horizon. It's your job to tell everybody, land ho, that's where we're going, because you have the vision. Second is you need to be the one pounding the drum, setting the pace and letting everybody know what's the rhythm that we work at here, pounding the drum of where it is that we're going so everybody knows the vision, pounding the drum so that other people outside of the boat can hear you coming and they go, oh, what's all that about, right? You need to be the chief evangelist officer. You are the one that is preaching the good word, not just internally to the team, but to customers. You are the number 1 marketer on the team. And that never changes. Even after you hire a CMO, after you hire a marketing agency, you are still the one responsible for bringing people in, because nobody can do this job better than you. Nobody can preach the good word of your business better than you can. And this is critical because, as again, going back to David Ogilvy, I think David has done a number of David Ogilvy. David Senra is the name of the podcast host of Founders. I think he's done a number of episodes on David Ogilvy. Recommend you go watch those, but David Ogilvy is one of the best writers. I would recommend go finding his books. But he has this line that I've always really loved, which is that you can't save souls in an empty church. So if you started a business because you have a product or a service that you believe can genuinely make people's life better, you believe in it, you're an evangelist, you are a missionary, you're not a mercenary, you're not just doing this for the money, then you want to save souls, right? You want to get people into your church, then you need to do everything within your power to go out into the world and let them know so that they can come in, you can preach the good word and potentially save them from the fiery pits of hell. That's your obligation to the world, and that is your number 1 job as the founder. Set the vision, pound the drum. So, have you guys actually listened? This podcast episode, by the way, is not sponsored or anything by the Founders Podcast. Just one that I really enjoy. I think that you guys will get a lot of value from. Let me know down in the comments. Have you listened to the podcast? If you have, what was your favorite episode? Drop that down below. I'll check it out. I probably already have. I've listened to so many of them, actually, at this point. But yeah, that in a nutshell, 7 strategies that you can use to go build $1 million a year business. Take it and run with it, or don't. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next episode.